Hey, Avatar Last Airbender fans, this is Chris Bolts coming in with an article from our friends over at Bounding into Comics. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because we're told that there's no systemic racism and no DEI or any of that nonsense, but look at the title of this one. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender confirms original voice actors were recast in order to match actors' ethnic racial background to the characters, which is just damn foolishness and everything like that. But before I get into the article, do make sure you do like, share, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really helps me out here. Now, this is American anime. I'm putting the air quotes there. As you can see, there my fingers are. So we're going to go ahead and cover that here. And my channel, like I said, mostly deals with anime. But every now and then, we got to get involved in the American culture. And that's what this anime is, or animation rather, is. Avatar The Last Airbender was a really good cartoon show that still holds up to this day. Definitely is much better than Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra was a poor follow-up to the series, but the original 3 seasons, the Book of Water, the Book of Fire, the Book of Air, or was it the Book of, it was the Book of Water, the Book of Earth, and the Book of Fire. There was no air because he's the airbender. So those 3 seasons were absolutely wonderful. We've got some really great performances from all the voice actors and the characters in that movie, or rather that animation show from Nickelodeon. Some memorable scenes, memorable times with those animations, and so they decided to follow up with The Legend of Korra. And frankly, as I mentioned, The Legend of Korra was a poor follow-up. That's when if you weren't in tune with it then, you started becoming, you're definitely in tune with it now. The type of messaging and political agendas that was inside of that particular animation. Korra starts off straight as a board, dating some guy from the Earth. That is from the Earth Nation. Everything's integrated in the future, based on what the activities of Aang and all of his cohort. But then towards the end, she falls in love with some girl. We saw that coming a mile away. They turned Toph into an angry, bitter single mother who has problems with her daughters and everything like that. And of course, Korra was strong and independent, didn't need any man, was made to look masculine and all that. So Legend of Korra does not hold as much of a place in everyone's memory as the first Avatar: The Last Airbender. And one of the bizarre things that was going on with this, with the series, was also the fact that they started going in there and started casting according to people's race and ethnicities. Now, you know that if we were to reverse these roles and all and whatnot, if we were to say that we only want white people to cast white voices and all that, everybody would be up in arms. But not so when it comes to accurate voice casting, when it comes to black characters or Asian characters or Latino characters, anything of that nature. And right here in the very first paragraph, when news broke that the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender sequel film, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, had declined to bring back the series' original voice cast and said chose to wholesale replace them, many fans were left scratching their heads as to what possible reason could have motivated this bizarre decision. But thanks to casting director Jenny Ju, we now know that the reason was, unsurprisingly, identity politics. And so that's been going on a lot in a lot of the animation space, whether it is over in the Japanese voice, or rather the English voice acting of Japanese anime or Korean anime, or even over here. If the character is not the best person for the job, as they like to mention, it's now, well, if this is an Asian person, we can only have an Asian person voice the lead on that. And if there is no sharper reason why that's not the case, all we need to do is look at the performances of Kiryu from Like a Dragon. Now, the original voice actor for Kiryu for the English was this Daryl Hughes Carrillo. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but in the most recent version of Like a Dragon, it was switched over to Young Ye. Young Ye became the new voice actor, and no one really liked Young Ye's performance. His performance was completely. I'm not gonna play the video or anything like that. If you guys want to go ahead and look at this particular video, I will link it in the description. Let me go ahead and get the video URL. I'm going to put that in over. So yeah, so if you guys want to go and look at that yourselves, I will definitely go ahead and link that in the description. But yeah, pretty much it always used to be the best man for the job. But no, nowadays it is now whoever fits the proper ethnic group or racial group, they're going to get the job. And I don't think the sales of that game particularly suffer because Like a Dragon, which used to be called Yakuza, has a very strong dedicated fan base, of which I am one. I own all the first 6 games. I own Like a Dragon. I don't have any of the other games or anything like that. The last 2. So I'm a fan of the series, but so it didn't really affect the sales or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is that his voice casting was only he only got the job based on identity politics. He probably won't admit to that, and I'm not going to sit here and blame Young Ye, who is a legendary YouTuber of his own in his own right. He was a YouTuber before he became a famous voice actor. I'm not going to blame him for taking the job or anything like that, but he needs to understand that that's why he got that job for the most part. They wanted to replace them and cast more accurately to his Kiryu's ethnic group. But back over here to Avatar: The Last Airbender, the same thing is happening here. Now, the original voice actor here was this guy right here, Zach Tyler Eisen. Now, he could have easily voiced an adult Aang. And in fact, let's just face it, they're going back to do an adult Aang because Korra was that unpopular, and now people are more interested in knowing what happened to these kids as they grew into adulthood. In fact, frankly, that's how they should have done it. They should have followed the Naruto/Boruto route and grew up along with these characters, because we like the original characters. We like Aang, we like Katara, we like Sokka, we like Toph, we like all those. We like Bumi, we like Zuko, and we even like Azula. Azula was a pretty good villain in the original series. So even Fire Lord Ozai, all those characters, we wanted to see what happened with them. But instead, they decided to skip ahead several years to Korra. And to be fair, there was some anticipation for a Legend of Korra, because obviously we wanted to know what happened with the characters. But as the series went on, people started falling out of favor with that. So they had to go back to following up with the characters because they needed to save this series. But now we know that it's not going to be going along as we thought it would be and everything like that. So despite picking back up where the series left off, the film, as noted above, will not be bringing back the original voice cast for the main gang. That's a good play on words. Despite all them still being alive and most still working, but instead replace them with a brand new voice cast. Now, the only one that's still not alive, unfortunately, is the voice actor for Zuko's uncle. I forgot his real life name, but he died several years ago, and his voice cast was already replaced. So the replacement is still alive. This right here is Zuko's girlfriend. I'm pretty sure they got married, or not Zuko, but Sokka's girlfriend. So I'm pretty sure. And they even made the mistake right here. They call him Zuko. That's not Zuko. That's Sokka. So, and the confirmed voice cast for the Legend of Aang includes Korean singer Eric Nam as Aang, taking over for Zach Tyler Eisen, which is stupid. Jessica Matten as Katara, taking over for Mae Whitman. And Roman Zaragoza as Sokka, taking over from Jack Sunya. And Dion Kwan, herself a blind, oh my God. Dion Kwan, herself a blind woman as Toph, taking over for Jesse Flower. It should be noted that there does currently exist a rumor that Zuko's original voice actor, Dante Basco, will be reprising his role as the Firebender, but this has yet to be confirmed. So this is just more, identity politics, political agenda driven nonsense. Hopefully it won't impact this upcoming sequel to the original trilogy, but we'll just have to see what the final product produces. So long as the story and the narrative and the characters are not hampered by any political agendas or anything like that, then I think there shouldn't be any real big issues or anything. But we need to stop this nonsense about using people's ethnicity or their skin color to get jobs. Merit only, please. If all these people had gotten a job based on their merit, based on their talents, no one would have a stink about any of this. But you have to go in there and taint it with identity politics, and it's just it's absolutely absurd. And this is this is a question that was asked of Jenny Ju, and I'll go ahead and leave it at this. Asked directly by a user if there was any reason why you guys decided not to bring the original cast back for the ultimate nostalgia trip. The casting director asserted, since the original show was released, there's been more emphasis in voiceover to match actors' ethnic, racial background to the characters they're portraying. So there she is. She's admitting it right there. But again, like I said, if this was a white woman, because I'm assuming Jenny Ju is probably Asian. Yep, she's Asian. If this was a white woman that said, hey, there's been more emphasis to match voiceovers to match actors' ethnic, racial background to the characters they're portraying in terms of a white person, you know what kind of backlash she's getting? Ask Shiloh Hendricks how people are upset about things with regards to race, even though she didn't start that. But that's a story for a different topic. But there you have it. The casting director for The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, admitting that, hey, we are engaging in racism to line people up with to line actors up with the characters they're portraying on screen. That's what she's admitting to, even though she probably won't admit it themselves. What do you guys have to say about this? Jump down in the comments and let me know. And remember to like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that good stuff really helps me out. And remember, this is Chris Boltz signing off, and I will catch you in the next video. You guys take it easy.